Welcome back to JT channel, and I'll go ahead and say happy 420 a little early. If you're actually subscribed to the channel and are excited about the holiday, I should say. Yes, I'm fixing my phone as I'm doing this. I will be doing a live stream a little bit later, my very first live stream, but we'll cover that later. But for now, it is time for JT's wrestling review. It is Smackdown from last night, and obviously, the real first thing we want to start with, I got my plug about my live stream out of the way, is there were 3 wrestlers released last night. I don't know if it was during Smackdown or not, but it was definitely unexpected, at least for me. This was one of those times where I didn't catch Smackdown as it was going on, but I did catch the news about the releases. Zion Quinn and Xia Li were 2 that I don't know much about. I knew Xia Li. I liked Xia Li a lot. And Zion Quinn was really good, but they weren't used a whole lot. Excuse me. Xia Li had a lot of start-stop stuff with her. And, of course, Jinder Mahal, former WWE champion, whether you liked it or you didn't. Most of us didn't, but we've all grown to kind of accept. We kind of grown to accept what happened when he was champion, and now we all do the don't hinder Jinder thing. So good luck to all 3 of them. Obviously, you don't want people to lose their jobs. Zion Quinn might only have a 30-day. Xia Li and Jinder probably have a 90-day for their no-competes or non-compete, whatever the hell they're called. So look forward to seeing what they're going to do next. But then we get into SmackDown. The first match, first thing of the night, is AJ Styles versus LA Knight, WrestleMania rematch, and a number 1 contenders match. I mean, it wasn't like a planned, I mean, it was a planned WrestleMania rematch, but they won their triple threat matches last week to become number 1 contenders. Well, to fight for the number 1 contendership for the WWE Championship, the undisputed WWE title, Cody's belt. Pretty much instantly, they fought to the outside. Obviously, they've had this big feud over the last several months that involved AJ Styles flying across the world just to punch LA Knight in the face. LA Knight did his head slams into the announce table. He hit this really cool dropkick through the ropes. These 2 were obviously really good together in the ring. Not every pair of pro wrestlers has good chemistry. Don't mind the background commentary. But these 2 definitely do. So it was good to see that again. But in the end, AJ was able to I shouldn't say hit. But he was able to do a thumb to the eye and hit his phenomenal forearm to get a 1-2-3. So basically, and I don't mean to sound nonchalant about this, but I kind of saw this coming. AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes at Backlash, which is like next weekend, I think, at this point, or 2 weeks from now. But it's really soon. It's 2 weeks. It's the first weekend in May. So AJ versus Cody, it's going to be really good. You know, I don't think they've ever fought, even when they were both, away from the WWE system before AJ came in and while Cody was gone. So it's going to be interesting to see these 2 battle. Obviously, I don't think AJ's going to win that match, but it will be fun to see AJ and Cody. This may seem random, but I see a lot of people still talking about how AJ Styles changed his theme music. I believe at WrestleMania or the Friday after, one of the 2. I think it was at WrestleMania. I like his new theme song. It kind of fits that he changed it now that he is this version of himself. He's been a heel before, but I think it's a good time to go ahead and change his theme. Or it was a good time. Then we just see the Bloodline arriving, and Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Paul Heyman. And basically, Sikoa just says he wants Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens has disrespected the Bloodline too much. And we will get more into that later. Nick Aldis reveals new tag team titles. I made that a lot shorter than the thing on Raw, because it was just like the thing on Raw, only with no R-Truth, so it wasn't nearly as funny. But new tag team titles. They look really good. They're really reminiscent of the early 2000s SmackDown tag titles that Stephanie McMahon introduced. Only there's no blue. It's all just gold. But then we jump right into their number 1 contenders match, which is the Authors of Pain taking on Legado del Fantasma, taking on the Street Profits, taking on the New Catch Republic. What do you want me to say? What if I sat here and walked you through every move in that match? You'd be bored, because I can't do it justice. Like I've said multiple times, WWE is getting really good at multi-man matches. This was another super entertaining one. I mean, this was great. I wrote here that I need to shout out the Authors of Pain specifically. It's so good to see them back. They look amazing. They were the big final bosses in this match. You know, everyone had to try to take them out. There was a spot where not everybody, I think it was like the Pete Dunne and the Street Profits helped Tyler Bate pick up Akam, I believe. Akam or Reza. I honestly don't remember which one it was. But Tyler Bate got him up for the airplane spin, which Tyler Bate's always known as the big strong boy, so no surprise there, but he had to get help to get him on his shoulders, but then he had him on his shoulders. Okay, I can barely hold my 25.5-pound daughter for 5 minutes, and he was picking up a member of AOP. So that was cool. Obviously, there was the old Tower of Doom spot, but Tyler Bate was left on the top rope after that, and Legado threw Tyler Bate off of the top rope into everybody else. Then they hit this really cool move. It was like one member of Legado had him in a powerbomb position. Tyler Bate had Tyler Bate in a powerbomb position. I have ADHD and I stutter a lot if you're new to the channel. And the other one did a drop kick from the top rope. Looked fantastic. At one point, this is the finish that I bought. Dawkins hit a pounce, and then they hit their big, like, super blockbuster, but it was only a 2. I thought they were going to win there. There was a lot of, like, tons of big multi-man spots with near falls, which was really cool. I mean, he just 1-2 oohs all over the place. But in the end, the Street Profits hit what they call the Revelation, which is like a spinebuster neckbreaker combo, and Street Profits still won the match. So I believe that means we're getting the Street Profits against A-Town Down Under, Backlash. And this is one of those title matches where I don't think anyone would mind if the titles changed hands. It's the bad guys losing their titles quickly. So no big deal. But then we get to this great Bloodline segment. Before they come to the ring, Heyman's like, I don't want to piss you off, but, you know, he's trying to talk to Solo and being like, you know, is the tribal chief okay with this? And Solo clearly does not give a shit. They come to the ring. Paul Heyman starts cutting a promo, but before too long, Solo Sikoa takes the microphone and says he had to lose a brother to find another one, and starts hyping up, you know, Tama Tonga and what. Basically, this is going to be a new version of the Bloodline and how people need to pay. And then Tama Tonga brings out Kevin Owens, who is just bleeding profusely from like the side of his head. I don't know if it was real blood or fake blood, if he bladed, or if he just put like Hot Topic Spirit Halloween fake blood on him. I don't know, and I don't care. The occasional use of blood in WWE recently has really added to stories. That's like the big argument, and we'll get into this another day, about how Jon Moxley always bled. It kind of took away because it happened all the time. WWE has been using it sparingly, and when it's used like on purpose. So it's worked out really well, especially for this. You know, this shows that Tama and Solo aren't screwing around. They show that this is what they're going to do. So officials grabbed Owens and tried to leave with him. Owens, of course, Kevin Owens. He runs back to try to fight him off. Obviously, it didn't work. It was 2-on-1. And they beat up Owens even more. And the Bloodline stands tall. And before I finish my thoughts on this segment, after the break, Nick Aldis took Paul Heyman to the outside, and there was an apparent car accident. And he said that the car that was T-boned was Kevin Owens' car, and the car that did the T-boning was Tama Tonga's car. So basically, and don't yell at me for saying Tama. I know it might be Tama Tonga. I don't care. I just pronounce it however it comes out of my mouth. So basically, this version of Bloodline is a lot more brutal. They're a lot more serious. They're probably going to take down everybody, quote unquote, that at least disrespected the Bloodline over the years. Apparently, there was a Roman chant at one point. Again, I didn't catch all of SmackDown, but I like it. This is exactly what this form of the Bloodline should be. You know, you had each version always having each other's backs, and that's fine. But this version where Solo's clearly in charge, him and Tama Tonga, there you go, are going to just beat the hell out of people for a while. And I think that's going to be cool, especially if it leads to where we all think it's going to lead, with like Jacob Fatu joining them, and then the Usos coming back together, and Roman joining the Usos and having like a babyface Bloodline versus a heel Bloodline. So we'll see. That's like total fantasy booking, but I like where they're going with it right now for sure. Don't feel bad if you hear cats growling. Then we had Carlito versus Santos Escobar. I didn't don't know much to say about this match. I mean, it was good. It was Carlito and Santos Escobar. Santos is great, and Carlito looks fantastic. But in the end, they brawled for a while, but Carlito had control, and then Santos got control, hit the Phantom Driver, and beat Carlito. It was a fine matchup. Santos gets another big win, which is good. I don't know. I think we're going to eventually reveal that Carlito's the one that attacked Dragon Lee. I think we're leading towards a Carlito heel turn because Santos still says it wasn't him and it wasn't Andrade and yada yada. So, but we'll see for sure. Then we get ready to set up for our main event, which is going to be Naomi versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship, which obviously is going to be a really good match. But before that, we see Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair and Damage Control all up in like separate skyboxes, and they shout at each other a bunch. So eventually, I shouldn't say eventually, that feud is continuing, and eventually it's likely going to lead to Jade and Bianca becoming the Women's Tag Team Champions, which is fine. But I really hope that when they win the titles, or between now and then, that we start remembering that those are belts. I know it sounds stupid, but the women's tag team titles have always had such a rough go, so let's treat them like actual titles. So then we get to the matchup, Naomi versus Bayley, which is babyface versus babyface, but they're both so good at it that it doesn't matter anymore. Back in the 2000s and 2010s, doing two faces against each other was always hard, because it's like, you got to boo somebody. Not anymore. Not in today's wrestling. Two good guys going against each other is great. Two bad guys going against each other is great. It doesn't matter. Pro wrestling is just great right now. I wrote that this match was really fun because it really was. I mean, they're real life friends and they're on screen friends, so they had a really good time with it. They were trading roll ups at one point, going really back and forth. There was a lot of spots where they did like big moves, like Bayley's big elbow and stuff like that, and 1-2 ooze. Sorry, I don't know what that was. But we'll go ahead and get into the final few moments of the match here. They were in a strike battle, like the little forearm battle thing that wrestlers do. In the end, Naomi kind of got the better of it, hit this big knee that knocked Bayley to the outside. Then Naomi did like just a quick little launch over the top rope, crossbody thing. They were both out for a minute. They got back up. Bayley hit a Bayley to belly on the announce table, which looked pretty good. And then Tiffany Stratton shows up, attacks both, and they get a double DQ, which would upset me if this was still bad WWE, which sounds really dumb, but Triple H has been very smart about DQ finishes for the most part, and this one makes a lot of sense. Tiffany Stratton really wanted to face Bayley, and then she, lost to Naomi, but she also beat Naomi a while back. So she just, feels slighted, plus this character, she literally calls herself the center of the universe, so what do you expect? But she attacks both Bayley and Naomi, so it's a double disqualification, which I already said. Gets them both in the ring, hits the prettiest moonsault ever, and SmackDown goes off the air with Tiffany Stratton standing tall. So we're either going to get Tiffany versus at Backlash, or we're going to do the triple threat, which I saw some people suggesting. That way you have Naomi and Bayley, so you have the two baby faces, but you also have Tiffany. Tiffany Stratton really fits on the main roster. Everybody's been saying it for months. She belongs up there. I don't think she's going to win the title, but I do think that she's going to have a damn good shot at it. She should be women's champion someday. I don't know if I'd have her go over Bayley, but maybe whoever takes the title from Bayley, Tiffany takes the title from them. So overall, a really good episode of SmackDown. Obviously, the highlight for me was the stuff with Kevin Owens. I love the idea of Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa being this like violent version of the Bloodline that's just like, we're not going to take no shit. We're just going to start beating people up until we take notice. And I really do think that Jacob Fatu is probably going to be the next member. That's what I would do. That's just me. And then we can see from there. But thank you everybody so much for watching. Plug here at the end, because tomorrow night is... And now I have a guest. Tomorrow night is AEW Dynasty, which I will be watching and reviewing on Monday. So until then, though, like I said, live stream later on. And if you're enjoying these videos, thank you. And to the people that watch these videos and point out the production, I know It's just my phone on a phone stand. I know I have a green screen. I know there's green screen apps. I could change the background. I could try to not have an 18-month-old in my videos or cats screaming in the background. But this is my channel right now, and I enjoy doing videos like this. Someday, yes, I'll have a whole setup. But for now, this is it. And I guess that's it for now, like I just said. So until next time, this is JT Channel. I am JT, and we'll see you then.